there. Welcome to Money Moves 2026. I am Dr. Pam Perry, the publisher of Speakers Magazine, and also the publicist of Pam Perry PR, and also a podcaster and executive producer of Leading Edge TV. So before we get started with this, everyone knows April is Financial Literacy Month, and I love talking about money. Now, money goes up and down, it's energy, it goes sideways, it can go forward, it can go backwards. But today we've gathered the top experts, actually 10 experts, that will be talking about money, where we should be going in 2026. But before I even get to that, I do want to talk a little bit about a particular book that I want to give homage to. One is Millionaire Moves, 7 Proven Principles of Entrepreneurship. If there's anyone from Detroit, they know this book pretty well because it's by Dr. Bill Bacard. So I know Mike Wynn is shaking his head, Felice is shaking his head. But Bill Bacard started out as a social worker, and he passed last year. But before he passed, he was giving away millions of dollars to HBCUs and schools and scholarships. He was one of the first African Americans to have a very successful McDonald's in the Metro Detroit area. Then he moved into automotive supplier and became very, very successful with that. And he's had a whole lot of other businesses in between. But he's the one that Willie Jolly talks about in his book, that talks about rich is good and wealthy is better. And one of the things that Bill Bacard said is that you want to make sure that when you're sleeping that you're making money. He's known of saying that. The other person, so this is one of my mentors. He's been in Speakers Magazine before. The book is still on Amazon. What I love about books, always love books, is that even though he's not here, his books are, right? So you can read. He wanted to leave the 7 principles of entrepreneurship. He died very, very wealthy, not just rich, but wealthy. And he shared his wealth, not just with his family, but with the community at large. The other one, the same type of thing. For those people who are from Detroit, you may know John Barfield. John Barfield is a self-made millionaire, started out as a janitor. I don't know, Mike, if you knew John Barfield, but I helped him produce this particular book. This is his memoir, The Humble Beginnings of a $2 billion enterprise. Started out as a janitor. He's originally from Ypsilanti, but we claim him from Detroit because Ypsilanti and Detroit is together. Now, this particular book I helped promote, where he basically helped him ghostwrite the book with Anthony Nealing, but also he was on PBS. And you know how PBS has those telethons? He did one of the most successful telethons with this book, talking about starting from scratch. Okay, literally starting from scratch as a janitor. So those are some of the things of people who it's possible for you. I want to make sure that when you all leave this particular webinar, that you are filled with hope. Someone who can start as a janitor, someone who could start as a social worker, working with all kinds of, back then, okay, we're talking about like before civil rights were even like around, that even though the situation politically is hard now, think about them. Okay, John Barfield was born in 1930. Okay, he didn't have a lot of rights. Okay, so, and then Bill Bacard, he grew up definitely in the 50s. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to share a short video of Dr. Willie Jolly, who kind of inspired all of this, because rich is good, wealthy is better. So I'm going to share the screen, and this is on private here. And I want to go over here, and I want to optimize the sharing. Okay, what is that about? Now I don't want to, I just want to optimize it. Optimize, share computer sound on stereo. Okay. Okay, it says I have to put in my password. Okay, you guys, this does not happen. I don't know my password. Enter your password in order to share. All right. I'm going to stop sharing
We
right
can
now.
see your screen.
I know, but I don't want, I've got to put in my password in order for me to share the sound.
Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's the part that is kind of crazy. So what I want right now, we're going to go to another part and have our panelists introduce themselves while I find my password. Okay. So if everybody can give, like, the panelists can give their introduction, 10 seconds or less, who you are, what you do, that would be good. Starting with Mike Wynn, and then we go to Dr. Carolyn, then we go Dr. Wendy, Valise, and JJ. And Saran. Unmute, Mike. Okay.
It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Michael Wynn. I'm a habit success strategist, a financial mentor, and AI consultant. I help people with habits to find their way through winning strategies through not just knowing and owning their wealth, but to protect it as well.
Well,
All right.
hello, everyone. Can you hear me? I
Yes.
think I'm unmuted. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Carolyn Brooks-Collins. I'm the founder of the Fearlessly Confident Women's Coaching Program. And after a 45-year career as a CPA and corporate leadership, I found my voice at 67. And so now I help other women find their voices, especially when it comes to money. Because what I've learned is that it's not just about how much money we have, it's how confident we feel in managing it. And I'm passionate about helping women move from confusion and silence and moving their experience to clarity, control, and financial confidence. Because basically, I help women change their relationship with money, become strategic without feeling stuck. I want them to have a better relationship with money and learn how to handle their money, because having money and not knowing how to manage it, you're really stuck.
Very
Hello,
good.
everyone. I'm Dr. Wendy Labat. I'm known as the financial healer, and I empower people to ease the pain of inflation, which I think everybody's feeling it right now, overcome anorexic income, obese debt, mindset, knowledge deficiency, and other financial ills, to take control of their finances, acquire the proper protection to prevent financial ruin, build generational wealth, and become financially free and live the life they desire.
Love it. Love it.
Awesome. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Valise Smith, and I architect financial clarity for service-based business owners who are ready to understand their numbers so that they can make better decisions and build profitable businesses, which is ultimately going to help them move with clarity and not confusion when it comes to their money.
I love it. JJ or Dexter?
Hey everybody, it's JJ Conway. I help hardworking women and a few good men dump debt, build wealth, and prosper. It's time out for stale, pale, male strategies for building wealth. It is time for us to have some of our own in a society that is trying to take away what little we've got, y'all. And so I would love. No, that's not what I was to say. I'm loving everything I hear because I'm just like, we have got to do the thing. And I'm so excited to be part of this panel of people, men and women, who are doing the thing and making change, financial change, down to the third and fourth generations in our communities.
There you go. I love it.
Am I up
Dexter.
next, Pam?
Yes, you are.
Can
You
you
just
hear
got
me?
tired. You just in time.
Yeah,
Doing
yeah.
double duty.
I am doing double duty. I'm in an undisclosed location in South Carolina at a pastor's conference. But my name is Pastor Dexter B. Jenkins. I am a faith-based financial mentor. And in short, my expertise is showing people how to become more financially intelligent, as well as showing them how to use real estate as a wealth creation tool. So happy to be on this dynamic call tonight.
Good. Saran, did you intro yourself? Okay. Saran T. Baker.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I am Saran T. Baker, also known as your certified bag securer, your money hype woman, and accountability queen. I work with women and entrepreneurs to go from chaos to calm in their finances so that they can live a better life. And chaos being can't handle anything, any obstacles sent to them because so many people just don't know how to manage their money that everything that comes to them creates a financial ruin. So I work with women and entrepreneurs to do that, to create the calm so they can have an abundant life.
Love that. I heard something about, what did you say? The money hype queen.
That's right, your money hype queen.
I like anything with the hype. So that's cool. That's cool. All right. So I think we have our panelists, and I'm going to start with the video. I'm going to try that again here to share the video. Okay. And let's see if technology is going to be helpful for me here, because I think I know my password now. I can put that in so that we all can hear this video of my friend, Dr. Willie Jolly, to kick this off. And because I've got to make sure that you all hear it. So that's the part that. Settings. Video recording. Nope. Okay. Let me see if I can play it and it will work. Sharing the screen. You all see, right?
Mhm.
You see them?
Yes.
Okay.
And heard also on Get.
I don't think that's. Hold on. Optimize, share. Okay, here we go. Put in my password.
You had it on, you just needed to back it up. So
Okay. You heard it though? Okay,
yeah.
because it
Yes,
said that
we heard
computer
it.
sound
Get up
wasn't
mornings
on.
with Erica Campbell across America every day with Wake Up and Win with Dr. Willie Jolly.
Do you hear?
I'm so honored
Mhm.
that my dear friend Pam Perry would invite me to be part of this esteemed collection of financial thought leaders. I wish I could be there in person with everybody else, but I am speaking today in Arizona. But I wanted to at least make sure that I shared with you a few thoughts. You know, I am blessed. I am grateful. First, I was on the Speaker Magazine front page, beginning of the year in January, and it is so much of a blessing. I have the big poster, and then I'm also honored to have friendship with some of the people who are part of this esteemed panel of experts. But I just want to share my little bit because, see, I tell people everywhere that I have a new book called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And it's not because I'm a financial expert or a financial planner or a financial advisor. It's because I'm a really good listener. See, for 20 years, I've interviewed some of the greatest wealth creators of our time. People like Bill Marriott, David Rubenstein, David Stewart, Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, Damon John, one after another, billionaire after billionaire, multimillionaire after millionaire. And in that process, I learned so much. And one of the things I learned was that I did not know the difference between being rich and wealthy. Oh, I thought I knew, but I didn't know. And when it finally came to my realization, I said, well, maybe I'm the only one who didn't get it. Maybe I missed the memo. And so as I went around the country speaking to corporations and conventions, I'd ask people, what to you is rich? And the number one answer was always $1 million. Okay, you got $1 million? That's great, you're rich. Now, if rich is $1 million, then what's wealth? They'll stop, they'll think, they'll look up in the air, they say, I guess it's 5 million, maybe 10 million, maybe $1 billion. And I realized they didn't know either. So I went back to those multimillionaires and billionaires I'd interviewed on my show, and I called them and I said, look here, I got a theory. I just want to run it by you. And I shared my theory with them, and they said, you're right. You're absolutely right. Most people don't know what it is. You don't know the difference between being rich and wealthy. But you've got the platform. You got television, radio. You've got books. You speak. Share it with people. The difference between being rich and wealthy so that we can get more people to go beyond being rich, because rich is good to go on to wealthy. I had an experience a few months ago. I was speaking in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was in a fancy restaurant. My client had taken me to a fancy restaurant, and one of the star players from the Cleveland Browns football team was walking by with his entourage, and my client knew him and said, "Hey, come over, I want you to meet somebody." And he came over and he said, "This is Dr. Willie Jolly. He teaches people how to be wealthy." And the young man said, "Well, I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can get more wealth. Give me your card." I gave him a card, and he and our entourage left. And I said to my client, "I don't know that young man's finances, but I can bet you dimes to dollars that he thinks he's wealthy. He's probably rich. The owner is wealthy." See, that young man comes to the stadium on Sundays and he puts his pads on and he catches the ball, runs the ball, he sweats, he gets tackled. And at the end of the game, he leaves and hopefully he has a net worth of at least $1 million. While the owner, he never left the owner's box. He didn't get hit. He didn't run. He didn't get tackled. He didn't sweat. He sipped his favorite drink and ate his favorite food. But when he left, he had a net worth of over $1 billion. And when that young man is no longer able to do what he does, or gets hurt, or is no longer productive, that owner is going to replace him with another young man. See, rich is good, but wealth is so much better. If I gave you all a ball and said, hit a wall close to you, could you do it? Sure. Now, if I put a blindfold over you and turn you around and around till you didn't know which direction you were going in, would it still be so easy? No, because you can't hit what you can't see. And you definitely can't hit what you don't know. So here's the difference between being rich and wealthy. Rich is the result of money you earn from what you do. And the better you are doing it, the more money you can earn. Wealthy is the result of money you generate from what you own. And you typically get rich doing what you do during the day. And you get wealthy from what you own that makes money while you sleep. Folks, this is the essence of this book, but there's so much more. The book has 2 focus areas. Number 1, all the people who want to get wealthy but don't know how to get there. And this book tells you what I've learned over these 20 years interviewing these billionaires and millionaires, the lessons I've learned. But then the other group is all the people who are buying the book in volume. People buying 7, 10, 30 copies at a time. And that book, that's the one who are the people who have worked hard all their lives, scrimped, saved, sacrificed to create a nest egg, but they're concerned that their children will not be able to maintain it. Or as one man said to me after he finished reading the book, he bought 10 copies. He said, "Dr. Jolly, I'm buying these books because my number one fear is that my children will not treat my money like I treat it. And they'll go through in months what it took me decades and decades and decades to grow." No, that's not going to happen. Before anybody gets in my will, they must read this book. Last thing I want to share. I've been doing interviews all over the country and all over the world for this new book, one after another. Many days I have interviews from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., one after another after another. I've had so many who've said the same thing. And I'm honored that my friend Dennis Kimbrough is here because he's one of my dear friends. But this is a compliment of the highest order. That they have said, "Dr. Willie Jolly, we've read your book. And we believe this book is the sequel, Think and Grow Rich." What? What? Yes. Because see, in 1937, Napoleon Hill released a book of the lessons he learned from people he had interviewed, the titans of business of his day, Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford and DuPont and Edison and Wanamaker. Well, for the last 20 years, I've interviewed some of the greatest titans of business of our time. And I took all that information and I put it together. And I'm grateful that it's now changing lives. Go to richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com, richisgood.wealthyisbetter.com, or just simply go to winwithwillie.com, winwithwillie.com, and get access to this book and other items that will help you grow yourself so you can grow your wealth. This is Dr. Willie Jolly. Pam Perry and Mark Perry, I love y'all. And to all those on the panel, I'm so honored to even be associated with you. For some of you are the greatest wealth teachers of our time and experts. Have a great day. And as we celebrate Financial Literacy Month, remember, keep learning so you can keep earning, so you can keep growing.
There you go.
And remember, your best is yet
to come.
God bless you. Have a great day.
That is my guy. Oh my God. Okay. That is Dr. Willie Jolly. So we're going to start with our panel. He said it. Okay. He done set y'all up. He says y'all some of the best financial experts of the era. Okay. He done donned y'all. This is so right now I'm doing segment 1. And so I want Dr. Carolyn Brooks, Dr. Wendy Labat, and Saran Baker. So I want you all to be a part of this panel. And these are the questions I'm going to ask. So Dr. Carolyn Brooks, she is a financial empowerment coach, helping people build confidence, clarity, and control with their money. Okay. And then we have Wendy Labat. She is known as a financial healer. Okay. And she's helping people restore their relationship with money and building lasting wealth. And then Saran Baker, he's on the cover here, my Black Door Society sister. She is a wealth freedom advocate, and she also said she was the queen of what was that? The queen of
accountability queen and money hype woman.
money hype woman, right. But she's also a freedom advocate, financial strategist, empowering others towards ownership and economic independence. So the first question is to Dr. Carolyn. Basically, what mindset shift do people need now around money? Okay, Dr. Carolyn, what mindset shift? Okay, don't say that too fast, right? Mindset shift that people need around money right now. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the question. I will say that women in particular, because that's who I work with. I work with women and talk more about the relationship women have with money, because women have not really been taught to how to manage their money. I know so many women that make a lot of money, they don't monitor it. They need to know, just as Mr. Willie said, that having money is not the key. You have to be able to understand, manage it. And I think many women haven't been taught how to manage their money. So the mindset is that it's not enough to have it. You have to be able to keep it. You have to understand what you own, what you owe, even understand your debt. So it's understanding and changing that relationship you have with money. And we need to think more, speak more, and engage more with money, because you just can't just have listened to it unless you. I know too many people that don't know what to do with their money. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to trust. So I guess that mindset is that they can do it, that it's not too late. No matter where they are in whatever stage of life, they can start taking control of their own money.
I love that. And your background is with CPA?
I've been a CPA for over 40 years, worked in a corporate environment, and now work with women, and several modules in my program are related to finance. I find that women are not prepared for retirement. Women have money that are sitting in a savings account, don't know how to invest it. Definitely don't understand their debts, not tracking their money. So we need to just understand money, and that it's something they need to talk about and not be afraid to talk about.
There's a woman named Elizabeth White, and she's an advocate of that as well. She had a TEDx talk that kind of went viral, talked about how she's a Harvard MBA grad and she was not ready for retirement. And I think she's now like 75, and she really was in so many ways poor. Her book is called, I want to say, 55 Underemployed and Faking Normal. So if anybody is in that situation, you can probably go and get that book from the library. But Elizabeth White talks about how people are not prepared for retirement. And it wasn't like she wasn't working. She had very, very good jobs. And like I said, she had a degree from Harvard. So Carolyn, thank you so much for that. So Wendy, so we're going to talk a little bit about financial healing. What does financial healing look like in 2020? 2026?
Well, a lot of people confuse and conflate financial literacy with financial health. And that's why there's focus on mental health, physical health, and even social health since the pandemic, but very little emphasis on financial health. And people think, okay, I'm financially literate, but you can still have poor, even fatal financial health. Financial literacy is knowing what to do, and financial health is the result of what you do or don't do. So, people can think, okay, I'm making a lot of money. And I like Robert Kiyosaki's quote, it's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you keep and how hard your money works for you and how many generations you keep it for. And then our friend Dr. George Fraser says, most cultures plan for 3 generations, or many cultures plan for 3 generations, but most people plan for Saturday night. So we got a lot of Saturday night planners out there, and they're not looking beyond, and like I said, a lot of people that make money, a lot of my clients that make the high figures, they're the ones that have the, worst portfolios because they think, okay, I make all this money and, I'll be all right, but they don't realize, illness or injury can ruin it. I had breast cancer and my bills were almost $1.5 million, but thank God I practiced what I preach because my insurance paid all that. And not only that, but all the supplemental things that I purchased as part of my business strategy that I thought I'd never use brought me multiple 6-figure tax-free financial shots in the arm that allowed me to focus on my recovery and not worry about money, So people, financial health is about, can you bounce back? Just like with your physical health, if you get treated or you're prepared for whatever the illness is, you can bounce back. I wasn't really prepared for breast cancer, mentally because I never thought I'd get it. We all think we're never going to deal with a situation, but the fact that I had the foundation with the health insurance, the life insurance, those supplemental policies, breast cancer ended up being a profitable diagnosis, an opportunity. I hate to say it, but
Or
it
it could have
was,
taken you out, or it could have taken you out. The
it could
million
have taken
dollars
me
could have
out.
taken
And
you
it
out.
takes
So
so many people out because
I love
they want to be penny wise and pound foolish.
Saran. Thank you so much, Saran.
Mhm.
So I just want to say who entered the room.
Yay,
Dr.
Dr.
Dennis
Kimbrough.
Kimbrough. Well, how are you, sir? Your ears were burning. Your ears were burning. This one here, I got the very first one over here as well. So we're going to get to you, sir, in a minute, but your ears were burning. But right now we're talking about our segment one. And Dr. Carolyn talked about the need to what mindset is needed. Wendy talked about really financial healing. And now, Saran, what does wealth ownership require today? The money hype queen.
You know, when I looked at this question, in the run of show, I said, what does it require? The reality is this: we have too many opportunities, questions, too much information coming at us, right?
Yeah.
The thing we really need is to pick something and take action and be disciplined about that action, right? We
Yeah.
have so many all the influencers, and half of us are probably doing the same thing, making videos talking about the work that we do, right? But pick one thing, start there, do
And
it
be good.
consistently over time, get some results, and then go to the next thing because many people can't afford to jump in and do everything all at once. Some people can't, you can't jump in and I'm going to go and do a big life insurance policy. Then I'm going to dump a bunch of money in stocks. Then I'm going to go get an annuity. Then I'm going to go try to see if I can be a private equity lender. Then I'm going to go try to figure out how to do I bonds. It's too many things that people are trying to do, right? Pick one, be consistent at it for some time. I say give yourself at least 12 months, right, of consistency, maybe more depending on what it is, but get there and be disciplined. The other thing, and I talk about this a lot in my coaching program, is if you don't have a solid $20,000 to $25,000 in cash that you can touch for emergencies, make that your first goal. Right? Celebrate along the way in non-financial ways, but get in a place where when stuff happens, you're not worried about how you're going to do it, right? You can't handle it because you don't have any money put anywhere to do anything and you're looking crazy, right? And it's not a big amount of money, but it's somewhere to start. And so really right now, and and for many people don't know, I'm in the DC area and so many are impacted financially here in the DC area. Six-figure earners, right? Like Dr. Wendy was talking about. And I was one of them years ago when I lost my job making six figures. I made a lot of money and spent a lot of money. I mean a lot. But and then I had to go figure out why I didn't have any when I got laid off. And I only had the retirement plan. And so that's why it's important. Pick the thing. Do it. Get with one of the people on this panel to start something and be consistent about it over time. That would be my main piece of advice right now.
I love it. And you just said something too that everything happens for a reason. Wendy talked about that. Carolyn said she just found her voice at 57, I think you said. And there's certain things for the 67, 57, I can't remember. But you said that, certain things along our life.
67, that's fine. I'm 72 now.
What? No way. Oh my God. Okay. This girl, really, you looking good. Check her out in Speakers Magazine. Go look at them pictures of in Speakers Magazine. But the thing of what you said is that when you were laid off, Saran, you made a pivot and you made a determination that this will not happen again. And so you learned, you're not just talking about theory, you're something you learn from lived experience, which is really, really important. So really quick, I'm gonna go to the next segment. The rapid round question was, if you all can say one thing, what's the one money habit people should start now? So we'll start with Dr. Carolyn and then Dr. Wendy and then Saran. You kind of said yours, but what is the one money habit, and write this down, that you should start right now?
I think people need to understand what their inflow and their outflow of money is, tracking their money and keeping a budget. I think a lot of women or people just don't understand. They know how much money they make. They don't know what the outflow is. So you have to track it. And there are many techniques and apps that they can use, but they need to understand what they own and what they owe. You can't get to your net wealth if you don't know how much money you're spending.
Yeah, that is good. There are some apps. I think Mint is one. We should have had them as a sponsor. And there's some other apps as well. I can't think of the other one, but I know Mint
Rocket Money is one, and Monarch is another good one.
Monarch
that
is a
it
good
will
one.
track all of your credit cards, all of your inflows and outflows, even your investment accounts can be linked. And it'll give you up to the moment expenditure. Transaction comes through, it'll ask, what is this? For you to have to categorize it and name it.
I think, yeah. Okay. So for those of you all who aren't money people like Valise or Mike, who work with money all the time, those apps are gold. Okay. Monarch, Mint, and the other one that you said.
Rocket Money, Nerd Wallet. There are quite a few out there.
There's quite a few. So please, she said, that's where you need to start. Know what's coming in and what's going out. Okay. What is your one money habit, Dr. Wendy?
Well, mine is knowing spending. I give my clients a spending challenge because that's where you find the money to pay for things you think you can't afford. I had one client did the spending challenge, and at the end of the 30 days, he said, Dr. Wendy, I spent $600 eating out. And, he's a businessman. So I said, okay, where'd you take some clients out or what? He said, no, it's me and my wife and sometimes the grandkids. And it wasn't that he couldn't afford it, but it was an aha moment for him to say, wow, $600, I could have paid on a debt. I could have invested. I could have paid a bill or something. And so many people just disregard the spending, especially now when everything's so digital and it's a cashless society. You tap that card and you don't track it, but you got to know not what your expenses or income. You got to know those too, but the spending, you'll be surprised at how much you actually spend on that coffee every day, eating out at lunch and things like that. So I would say just be disciplined in your spending.
That's good. That's really, really good. Please. And those automatic withdrawals, please look at those as well. Look at them all the time because you never know. Someone told me that they paid for something that they didn't even know they were paying for 3 years. And it was, of course, the company's not going to call you and say, hey, you're not using this. You need to quit buying it. So Saran, we're good with you. So I'm going to move on to segment 2. And I want to go to, we were talking about habits and being consistent. We're going to talk with Michael Wynn, Dexter, and Valise. So all three of them, just to give you a little bit of who Michael Wynn is. Doctor, I'm calling you doctor already, Michael Wynn. Okay, here we go. Michael Wynn is a financial literacy expert and success strategist, helping people create wealth with purpose. That is who Michael Wynn is. He has a book. This one is called The Habit Effect, Your Life, Your Money. The forward up here is by Dr. Del Latoro McNeil. He was also on the cover of Speakers Magazine. And his other book, Habits Don't Lie, 7 Habits to Overcome Obstacles to Win. And you also have a new book, Dr. I'm calling you doctor. There you go. Okay. Scam-proof habits. So tell us a really quick one about that, what that's about.
That's absolutely scam in the age of AI where trust becomes the threat. I have to talk about it because it was more important to know my background because I am a financial expert, fraud examiner, mentor, whatever way you want to put it. I spent a lot of time, but now we have to deal with the animal of AI that is so efficient, is so useful, but at the same time, the people on the other side, fraud, they love it. It's because it's so unique. Even the people that have the most access to wealth are getting scammed by some of the simplest forms of a lack of habits, trust and verify. That's what I always.
So that book actually drops tomorrow, or is it drop? When's it drop? Mike, when does the book drop?
Oh, I'm sorry. The book dropped today.
Okay.
Online, and actually you can get it for $1.99 on the ebook, and the print is there too as well. Today is a motivate because I this is my favorite month, financial literacy. For years, I have been able to go to the libraries with Jumpstart, Money Smart, and work with people and find them and understand why people are either not understanding money, not protecting money, or don't know how to create wealth for themselves, their legacy. And it all starts with value in money. It's because I've oversaw over $33 billion. And the weird part about it, there was people that never seen $10,000 that was distributing that money out. So the problem is they had bad habits of or even trying, and that created chaos. And in its end, it's not how much you have or learn. You learn from your experiences, and we saw it all over and over. I had the opportunity for years to see different phases. The whole habit structure came from a personal side of what I learned to overdo a medical issue. But when reality came to how valuable it was with habits, I was selected as the first auditor in the casino and saw how that operation worked. And then I went over to UAW, and then the educational, which I spent the last 15 years in. And it's a scary situation when it comes to understanding the value of protection.
Fraud is big, and it's going to be bigger with the AI, is what you're saying. So hold the book up again. It's called Scam Proof.
Scam Proof Habits.
Because so many people.
AI with trust becomes the threat.
Yes. And so many people are afraid of AI anyway, and then financial. And so when Carolyn said, oh, there's different apps, or when you talk about different apps, it's like, should I put my money in there? Will I be scammed? So please, before you really start making all those money moves in 2026, stop and wait and look to make sure things aren't scammed. You aren't scammed. There's so many things. And Valise, she's an EA, so I'm gonna let her explain what that is, but she helps professionals turn financial clarity into business confidence and smarter money decisions. She also has a book that is right behind her in that blue over there. You can see that. But tell them what an EA is as well.
So a EA is an enrolled agent. And much like tax attorneys or CPAs, enrolled agents, we are authorized to represent clients before the IRS on tax matters throughout the 50 United States. So if you need tax resolution or tax representation, we are the ones that literally focuses on the tax law and are prepared to represent you to make sure that the IRS doesn't scam you out of your money.
When she said IRS, everybody just stood attention. Okay. That's just one of them words. It's like, what? What? Okay, IRS. All right. So she can help you with that part right there. And then Dexter B. Jenkins. Basically, one of the things about Dexter, he had this particular book, but he started out with this book. This one is Getting Your Money Straight and Building Wealth, 52 tips to help you do that. So sometimes it's so overwhelming to read a lot. This tips booklet is one of the things that really helps you with that. And then he did this particular book here, The Real Estate Wealth Creator Blueprint. He's been on the cover a couple of times as well. Dexter is a real estate wealth creator and mentor, teaching everyday people how to build generational wealth. So that's this segment. Okay, that is just this segment too. So number one question, Mike, it says, what financial move are people overlooking? What financial move are people overlooking? And then you all, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. I promise I'll look over there as well. Sir, Mike.
Are you talking? Oh, you're talking to me. Oh, okay. I thought you were still talking to Dexter. Well, it's obviously, like I said, it's not the investment strategy. It's the protection of money. Trust and verify. We get caught up into our behaviors when we learn about habits. It's that our emotions and our behaviors take over. So they overlook the value of protection and just understanding that it's important to know how wealthy I am. I worked with a millionaire, and he said that his son lost over $50,000 in a scam, and he just didn't know what to do in terms of going forward. It's because he didn't teach him the value of money. So we overlook how important it is to get a certain place in life, how it took to build that $25,000 Sarah, Susan, I'm sorry, I just hear that we should have. It's amazing how we can have it as fast as we can lose it. And I can tell you from experience as a fraud examiner, there's a whole lot of rich folks that's lost a lot of money that don't want to talk about it just from simple scams.
Wow. Okay. So they have to really avoid those. And it can be something as simple as, oh, you got a text from supposedly the IRS, right? They think that, this right here, or things are getting so
that concept of what you know, what you feel, and what you do, is that awareness, emotion, and then that repeating of just having that habit-based function, because we don't really think about it, but that's where it is. That's where it lays.
I love that. I love that. So Dexter, this is for you. What wealth building strategy should people consider now?
Well, I think I'm preaching to the choir here, because everyone has their own, take on what it really takes to build wealth. And, I've talked recently about, I think people really need to get serious about creating leverage for themselves. Leverage is my definition. That leverage is, the ability to earn more income with less effort. Because if hard work would help you become wealthy, the women cleaning this hotel I'm staying in right now will be the wealthiest people walking the earth, but they're not. And so I just think a lot of times that we've been lied to, where we thought it was getting the education. And then not that I'm against education. I told my congregation that on Sunday. Pastor is for education, but I recognize that, you can be the smartest person in your family, but still broke. So it's not education. So it's not the education. It's not the hard work. It's really, I think, Pam, and a couple of things. Number one, and we talked about it already, is many people have a problem with even having money. You really have to start with, in many respects, we've heard, money is the root of all evil and rich people are bad and all that. But when you're working 10, 20, about 8, 10 to 12 hours a day, so there's this incongruence around money. And then really it talked about leverage. As my second thing I talk about a lot is, you really got to learn how to create it. And then the third thing I talk about a lot of times is, you really have to be able to think about, as Michael said, pass it on to the next generation, because it's one thing to get it, it's one thing to keep it, but it's a whole other thing to pass it on to that next generation. That's what we want to do, because now we're talking legacy. And I think, all of us are really serious about, obviously want to do something for ourselves, but, you want to do things for your kids and great grandkids and things of that nature. So
how many doors do you own?
Currently 14.
And then where did it start? Did you have one passed down to you, or did you?
Yeah. I was fortunate enough. My dad was one. It's in my book. My dad was fortunate. My dad was one who always preached ownership,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
particularly in two places: on where you live and on where you work. And so, when he passed away back 3 years ago, he left me, I think seven of those doors, and then my wife and I have accumulated those other seven on our own. But dad was just really adamant about Dexter. He never said this, but this is what I heard. Dexter, make sure you own things that do two things. Number one, that appreciate in value and that produce cash flow. And so
And
he was
that's what,
adamant about that.
and that is one of the reasons why you talk about real estate as a wealth creation tool. I think you told me that his father left him something, or there was a farm.
Yeah. Well, it started, and I talk about that in my book too, as well. I talk about something called legacy soil.
Legacy soil. Okay.
Legacy soil,
Not the
legacy real estate.
not the 40 acres in the mule that we were promised. This is something
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Well, that it started with that we ain't get it. So now the inflation has kicked in, so it's a lot more now. But it was this thing of legacy to them was extremely important. That when my great this would be my grandfather, my dad's side, he had land in this small town called St. Stephen, South Carolina, which is probably about 45 minutes outside of Charleston. And then they passed it on to my dad, and then my dad had it, and then he passed it on to, actually he sold it to his brothers. But then my dad came to New Haven, Connecticut, and was a barber for 50 years in the city, but he owned real estate. And so this legacy real estate that I talk about, this legacy soil I talk about, is really about creating this momentum with our finances, that it creates a legacy for ourselves. Because what's happening is we're getting it and it's going out our generation one time. So people selling mama's house, and or when they inherit something, they want to get rid of it. And I'm always talking about the long-term impact of, if you're able to keep it moving and flowing, it can create legacy. So it's not just an inheritance, this is legacy real estate that you're getting. And
Yes.
so it's really
I
just
love,
changing people, perspective around that.
That's
I
good.
love that. That is, I wanted people to hear about the generation. So if you have someone in your family that passes, say grandparents or things like that, and it's like, oh, we're going to just sell it, and then you can get the money right then and there, but then you have nothing else that really goes on to the other children or the grandchildren. So keep that in the family if you can. Don't be so quick to sell it when someone passes, and sell it. Oh, because you'll never build wealth that way. So Valise Smith, uh, what I want to ask you, how does financial clarity build confidence? Because so
Oh,
many people do not have that.
well, Pam, I love this question because I'm known as the financial clarity architect. And what I will tell our audience today is financial clarity builds confidence because it replaces guesswork with understanding, right? When you have clarity, you have understanding. And my audience is business owners. And so in practice, when I work with business owners, what I've realized is that a lot of them are making decisions, financial decisions based on what they think is happening in their finances because they're checking their bank balances. They're going off of memory, what is in their head, or just hoping that things work out, right? But when you actually understand your numbers, your income, your expenses, your cash flow, you're no longer guessing. Now you can make informed, strategic decisions. And that changes everything. That's like a game changer, right? Because confidence doesn't come from making more money. It comes from knowing what I've heard so much already about how to manage the money that you already have, being a good steward over what's already been placed in your hands. We know the parable of the talents tells us that to the ones that multiplied it, God told them, I will give you more. I will make you have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. So when you have that clarity, you're able to price your services with intention. You're able to spend with discipline. I heard that right earlier, disciplined spending, and plan for growth without fear or shame or guilt. So it's not just about the numbers. You got to know your numbers, and the numbers don't lie, but it's about the confidence that comes from finally being in control of your finances. And it's a good feeling. It's a good place to be.
I love that. And your book, people should get it, not just business owners, but even it will help with your personal finance because it really shapes the mindset not to be afraid to talk about the numbers. We always say if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's really,
Absolutely.
really the key. You don't know your numbers and know your business. So many people are being new entrepreneurs right now and they're just like, oh, I'm just jumping into business. I love it. I'm passionate about what I do.
Right.
I want to help people. I'm passionate. I want to help people. And then it's like I'm having this financial conversation because we have all those creative ideas, but then a lot of us are talented and creative and broke. Okay. That's
Yep.
because we need to get a little bit more left brain. Okay. And not just be all right brain because you need a balance. Because if not, you will be talented and broke. There's a book by Delano, I believe, Delano's book. JJ, you know that book I'm talking about, Talented and Broke. He's a graphic artist and was like, for a long time, he was talented and broke. So the next, thank you so much. So the round robin question is to this one is what's the smartest move for 2026? Let's start with, I'm sorry, that's not yours. Okay. What's one move people can make this week? So I'm gonna start with Mike, Dexter, and Valise. So Mike, what's the one money move they can make this week? Money move they can make this week.
Before I answer, I would be remiss if I did not say hello, Dr. Kimber. We go way back. I saw you all the time at WC3. You talked about what makes great, great, and I'm telling you, I enjoyed that series with you, so I have to say hello. Yes, the one thing this week I would also say is to verify before you act. It's never going to change. That is the habit to have is to verify you act. Some of the best of us are getting taken with clones, with banks. They are good. Verify before you act. Pause, relax, but verify before you act.
I love that. Check the email too. Check those emails. When people send them emails, check it. If this is
They're
Gmail
good.
or if
Nothing
it's
like
a .gov or something like, check it. Check
Yeah.
it. Then yeah, just that whole thing. Please verify. Verify. Too many scams are out there.
You know,
So
I talked a lot about that.
yes, that is so true. Who was that? Okay, but the
This
next.
is Joseph.
Okay, yes, definitely. Oh yes. So it's so many PayPal scams and fish. They call it phishing. So they're not going to catch any fish here. The thank you, Joseph. Dexter, what's the one money move people can make this week?
My one money move would be to make up their mind that they're going to get good with money. Everything starts with a made up mind, and I think a lot of times because of as the point I made earlier, we haven't made up our mind that it's okay to want to become wealthy. We stay in this middle place, and
Yeah.
I remember Bishop T.D. Jakes said this. There's great power in a made up mind.
So
And so
make
that would be my exhortation is, for people to make up their mind and go for it.
that is so true. That is so true. And Belize.
Well, one of the things that I always say, and I think it's a great, simple but powerful money move that you can make this week, is to give every dollar a destination.
Ooh.
Before you
Oh,
spend anything, decide.
Wendy likes that. Wendy and Carolyn, both of them, they're like, yes, that is it.
Yes, before you spend anything, decide where your money is supposed to go. So, for my business owners, whether that's paying yourself or operating expenses or taxes or saving, that's one of the frameworks, the signature frameworks that I operate out of is putting your money in pots, paying yourself, operating expenses, taxes, or savings. Because what happens for a lot of people is that when everything goes into one account, every dollar looks available until it's not
That's
until it's
good.
gone. And when it's time to pay taxes, you're like, well, I don't have any money to pay taxes because you spent it, because you put it all in the same account. You need to allocate and separate your money as it comes in. Every dollar needs a destination.
That's good advice. That's a good advice. I looked at a book in the bookstore the other day. Michael Mantovitz. I can't pronounce his last name.
Michael Michalowicz.
I figured you would know, right? Yeah. He talks about that a lot as well, about having different pots and having different bank accounts for different things. And I never really heard that before. I was like, I just have one bank, so I can have one relationship with one bank. It's like, no,
Well, you know what, Pam? It's also very similar on a personal side to the envelope system that we all may be
yes,
familiar with. that we
Yes,
used to use for personal finances.
that's
It's
true.
the same thing. All things it's instructional for your personal, it applies for your business. The same way you handle your personal finances is the same way you're going to handle your business finances. You just got to make sure that you're keeping everything separate and you're not commingling.
That part. Okay, we're gonna drop the mic right there. Nope. Mingling. Okay, these new entrepreneurs, you're gonna know what that is. Okay, you need to
Yeah.
touch with some of these folks here. Okay, so the last segment, JJ and Dennis Kimbrough. So let me tell you a little bit about JJ before we kind of get going here. JJ is a personal finance expert from lived experience and money management, simple, strategic, and actionable. She is also a lieutenant colonel, physics, brain. Okay, she's got a PhD in that, so it really is Dr. JJ too, because she's got all of this. But the main thing, the live experience, is that she got herself out of, what was the debt amount, Dr. JJ? What was it, JJ? Lieutenant Colonel
Over
JJ.
$845,000 in debt.
Almost a million. Almost a million. Okay, almost $1 million. And she did not file bankruptcy. She did it the long way. And she's been on the cover of Speakers Magazine. She's going to be in the cover of June, but she has an event, JuneteenthLegacy.com. She's looking for speakers. JuneteenthLegacy.com. George Fraser is just one of the speakers she's having. It's Juneteenth, obviously, during the time. It's in Tulsa this year. All right. And then now, Dennis Kimbrough, I got all your books. I think I loaned one of the other books, but this one here, The Wealth Choice Success Secrets of Black Millionaires. And this one, way back in the day, ooh, look at that one there. This one is the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice. But this one is Daily Motivations for African American Success. These two books here. So Dennis Kimbrough and JJ, they're going to kind of end this out here. But I want to start off here with questions for Dr. Kimbrough. What do people misunderstand about building legacy wealth? What do they misunderstand the most about building legacy wealth?
Wow. Pam, thank you very much for having me on the show, and I apologize. And I apologize for this whole setup. You are in my office at Clark, Atlanta, and you could tell why I never Zoom here. I'm always at home. The lighting and this, that, and everything. I wasn't supposed. I had a conflict. I had a student I have a doctoral student in my higher ed finance class, and she had a presentation that she had to do, and this was the only time, and I thought I could do both. Anyway, I'm here.
Listen, I know how you are. Your students come first. That is no doubt about it. And that is okay. You are here. You text me, and it is right on time. So let me tell you, because
Wow. To answer your question, I take the same position that Napoleon Hill took. Napoleon Hill, and thank you very much for sharing my book. That is book number 17 for him. The last book, he had written 16 books, and the last book that he was working on at the time of his death was a Black version of Think and Grow Rich. Even to this day, people say, man, how did you rip Hill off and this, that, and everything? And I said, I did not rip them off. They asked me. I didn't ask them. I get a phone call out of the blue, literally out of the blue, from W. Clement Stone and the like. The only reason why I want to share that, Pam, and to the audience is it is simpler, it is easier than people can digest. Why? Because when I was going through the dog days, that 7-year ordeal, and I couldn't find a quarter with the roadmap, and there I am in Chicago with W. Clement Stone, and he says, young man, he says, when this book hits, your finances are going to increase exponentially. And I looked at him like, yeah, whatever. And he said, promise me that you'll save 10 to 15% of every dime that you earn. And I still do that. And that's going to segue into my next point. I got 3 points. When I was researching Black millionaires in the early 1980s, folks were looking at me like I was crazy. And even the folks that I was interviewing, they said, well, why do you want to talk to me? And I said, well, this is a part of my research. And one thing I learned at Northwestern, you ain't got nothing till you got data. So part of that research was I got a chance to survey the top 150 Blacks in corporate America. One of the biggest mistakes that we make right now, there are roughly 2 million Black millionaires in the United States. You got about 1.8 million, according to the Federal Reserve, of the 62 million millionaires across the globe. If you look at that nearly 2 million, the majority of them are not business owners. Well, how in the world do they earn their wealth? Through the one habit that has always been in existence. You get a home, you cash it out, you save 10 to 15%. I don't care if it's 401k. I don't care. You know, you got so many different money market, platforms right now. And that is one of the, that's one of the habits that has worked. And then last but not least, to highlight and underscore the above, W.B. Du Bois wrote that seminal book in 1897 called The Negro in Business. All right. And in that book, that 800-page book, read the first 30 pages of that book. He has 2 quotes in there that has worked as time has marched on. He said, the man or woman who won't control his or her finances won't control anything else. And Valet Smith, I was listening to you. You're telling, your team and the folks who use your services handle your finances the way you handle your business, or handle your business the way you handle your finances. That's what Du Bois was talking about. When he says he won't control anything else, he meant if you don't care about the money in your pocket, and I can go ahead and pull out my billfold, and my billfold will get bigger after May 8th. Why? Because my oldest granddaughter graduates from college and I get her out of my wallet. So I'm going to feel like I got a pay raise. If you don't care about the money in your pocket, what do you care about Black college rates? What do you care about, Black on Black crime? That's what Du Bois was talking about. And then number 2, he says, within the first 30 pages, nothing positive will ever occur in a community that fails to circulate its dollars. So I was on another podcast. It was Black women, and it was Black women in the beauty industry. And I just made a comment. I'm saying, man, according to Pew Research, the average white female spends 5% of her monthly budget on hair and beauty. The average Black female spends 25% of her monthly budget on hair and beauty. So with that data, I wasn't, look, women, I got 3 daughters, I got 3 granddaughters. Y'all go do whatever you want. You earn the money. I'm not here to tell you, how to spend your money. But I teach the largest class in the AUC. What is the AUC? It's Clark Atlanta, Spelman Morehouse, ITC, Morehouse School of Medicine, all the schools right here. No one in the AUC has a larger class than me. And my classes are more than 80% female. So knowing that data, I just made a suggestion. Well, since you spend 25%, how come I don't stand in front of some Sephora scholars? How come I don't stand in front of some, Chanel scholars? How come, and on, based on what Du Bois said. So, we got to become better stewards of our money. It's not how much you earn, it's what you keep. And there's an economics theory that I always share with my students. It's called velocity. And economically, in the economic theory, velocity has a bunch of different meanings. But the one meaning of velocity that I use and that I share with my students is the economic theory of velocity is how fast money makes an impact on your life. And I make my students promise me that they will always live by slow velocity. If I got the average student in my class and I gave them $100 or $500 right now, that would have a quick impact on their life. But hopefully 10 years, 15 years from now, I give them $2,000, $3,000. They wouldn't even know what was in their bank account. Why? Slow velocity. And you want to make sure that you're not impacted by it overnight. Why? Because it has a controlling impact over your life. So I just want to share those with you. I am honored to be on the segment, and I am truly humbled and truly blessed. You were calling Michael Wynn doctor. Please don't call me doctor until next September, and let me enjoy my summer. And come September, I'll be doctor whoever you want. I don't want to be nowhere near academia, man.
I know. Thank you so much. So, you know what? The beginning of this book, you mentioned John Barfield. You were thanking him, and we had started out. You weren't here, but I was talking how I helped him with this book and how it became a PBS special, and he raised money. And that was part of the thing of, he's from Detroit, so my smalls were actually in his wedding. But this is the man that started as a janitor, became a billionaire. Okay. Started as a billionaire. You talk about some other people in here. Ken Brown from Detroit. You interviewed him. You interviewed Janice Bryant Howard.
She's billionaire.
Billionaire
out in California.
Oh my God. And then just, Tyler Perry and Damon John and John Johnson. I mean, all of these things here. But this book right here, if you don't have it, The Success Secrets of Black Millionaires. And you know what they always kind of say, if you want to keep a secret from Black folks, what do?
Throw it in the book.
Throw it in the book. But he'd already wrote the book and told you the success secrets of Black millionaires. So get this book, okay? Get the book. This is like you spent a lot of time doing the research. So you spent how many years writing this book?
Wow, man. That book, The Wealth Choice and Think and Grow Rich or Black Choice was 7-year ordeals. And simply because I would write a letter and wait. It's different now. I didn't have any bandwidth. I didn't have any name recognition for the first.
Have AI.
So I was begging for interviews and I got them, and I've been blessed.
That is good. That is good. So JJ, one of the things I want to ask you, what practical money strategy works right now? Someone who has crawled out of almost $1 million in debt. Okay. Yourself, what is the one thing that works right now? What money strategy?
Before I give you the strategy and make a whole lot of people mad, what I'm about to say, let me just preface it with pay attention to what's going on in the world. Every time our administration does something crazy, people panic, they sell their stocks, and somebody's buying them up. They don't look like most of us. Well, they do if some do, but mostly the cronies of the administration. Every time something has been given, something has been taken away. Oh, we're going to do affirmative. This is back in the day. We're going to do affirmative action. We're going to let everybody go to college. But then they deregulated college loans. And now college loans are siphoning Black and brown wealth out of communities at a fast rate. Almost equivalent to the fast rate that wealth is being depleted through the last 2 years. Just in the last 2 years, if you go look at these stock market numbers, the few people who finally saved up something, they finally did it right. Now, all of a sudden, panic sets in. The economy is crazy. People are selling when they should be buying. And when they're selling, somebody else is buying. It's legalized pillaging of wealth out of mostly Black and brown communities. So my recommendation for practical, we were talking a lot about theoretical, and I'm loving everything. I'm like, man, they've got all my talking points. I'm like, this is an esteemed panel right here. But just to get practical, my practical tactical recommendation for people right now is to move yourself to a cash position. So what does that mean? If you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and you can't hardly make ends meet, you can't pay your bills, let's get tactical about your finances and use the tips that have been shared here today to understand where your money's going. I like how she said, give every dollar a destination. I like to say, give every dollar a job, because my money is working for me. All right. Give every dollar a job, understand what you're spending, and get that together. We got to get it together. Ain't nobody coming to take care of us. We got to get it together. And so then if you have a little bit, then learn how to invest. And I'm not just talking about invest in myself or invest in the next big conference or the next big mentoring program. Yes, those are good in the right time and place, but we need to learn how to invest in what's working right now. And this is where all the big money people are doing. They are still doing the stock market and real estate. So get us into a cash position so we can be the ones that take advantage of that. One of the best things, and then I'm gonna yield the floor. One of the best things that I ever got to do as an investor, was be able to take my investment dollars in my self-directed, that means the profit is tax-free IRA, and be able to help out a black family where someone was attacking their slave lands. And it happens more often than you would imagine. I was able to take my money and stop somebody else from stealing their land, and then sold that land to a developer who was going to care about the community that I care about, and we all made money. We all profited. But you can't do that unless you're in a cash position.
Yes. Oh my God, that is so good, JJ. You bring the fire. So tell people about Juneteenth, okay? Before we kind of open it up for questions, tell people about JuneteenthLegacy.com.
All right, Juneteenth Legacy is is one of those things that come out of the fire, because in my career as an Air Force physicist for over 23 years, one of the things that is a blessing and a cursing is that a lot of people didn't realize I was black. They usually thought I was from India, or they thought I was Hispanic. And so after I actually officially become Dr. Conway, I'm ABD, but once I finish, I'm gonna write the book. I heard what you said when you didn't know I was black. And just living that experience in the military, it took such a toll on me that after a while I was like, you know what, I got the rank now, it's time to shake things up. And Juneteenth Legacy is part of how I've been shaking things up, because everybody can't do everything, but each one of us can do something. And so Juneteenth Legacy, we get together. It's not just a cry fest or a venting party. I mean, we do some of that too, but we look at real strategies. How can black people and brown people, especially black people, build wealth in this country that has traditions, and in the last year, policies, legitimate policies they have signed off on in black and white. We are not going to support black people. We want to take from black people. How can you succeed? We can succeed. And we're gonna fly under the radar. We're gonna succeed, and then we're gonna come out on top, y'all. That's what Juneteenth Legacy is all about.
I love it. JuneteenthLegacy.com. And she's also looking for speakers as well. I have a question. I love that. So I have a question from Sandra Kaiser. She says, what advice, and I think this might be to Dexter, but any of you all can answer that. What advice would you give for turning vacant land into an income generating property?
You know what? I'm gonna turn it over to JJ because she hot.
Ooh, if I had some vacant land now, the vacant land is paid for and not owed to somebody else, so I'm in negative cash flow. But there's a lot of different things that we can do with vacant land. But here's what I'm not gonna answer specifically, but I want to give a warning. Do not let somebody come in on your vacant land and profit off of your vacant land, and you haven't had that contract or anything researched and vetted by people who are on your team, your own legal counsel, who's going to make sure that you're getting taken advantage of. Because if but for the grace of God, I remember a time I was about to buy me a good old piece of land. We were going to put some a Comcast thing on it. We had an agreement working with Comcast to put an advertising. We were going to turn part of it into RV storage, and we were going to save that because it was a beautiful piece of land that we were going to use for ourselves later. Whoa, when we got into looking at the details of what was going on behind that land, and the municipality planning commission, what they plan to do in that area for the next 10 to 20 years, we realized they were putting a dump on us. All right. So if you don't already have the land, that's the kind of thing you want to watch out for, because land can be very profitable. But if you had some land, there's so many, and I'm gonna love to hear other suggestions. But I mean, storage, development projects, joint ventures. But again, you've got to make sure that you don't get left holding the bag, because that's what happens to us time and time again. If we enter into this joint venture, we're going to work with this developer. They're going to sell these houses. They're going to take our 40 acres and they're going to sell all these beautiful homes. And then all of a sudden, we don't get what we were supposed to get. And so, but yeah, you can do all kinds of development. I mean, there are people out here making money. They're making money with tiny homes. They're making money holding festivals. There's so much that you can do. It's not about what can I do with that land. It's almost what can't you do with the land.
I love that. I love that. One of the things Wanamir Oliver asked, JJ, how did you bounce back from your debt? How did you bounce back from that debt? That's the question people want to know. They
And
were
I
robbing.
want to make
They
sure y'all
borrowed
know I
against
wasn't being
everybody.
altruistic with not filing bankruptcy. Every couple of years I tried to file bankruptcy or walk away from all the debt, but I had a high level security clearance. Like I said, I was a scientist in the Air Force, and every couple of years I'd go in and the security people would be like, "Nope, you'll lose your
No.
clearance if you walk away." And that's because when people have financial issues, we're ripe targets for being taken advantage of by other nations. Okay, so I wasn't trying to be a do-gooder or anything. I was just stuck between a rock and a hard place. But when you're
Mhm.
stuck between a rock and a hard place, the best thing you can do is get a solid team of people around you who believe in you and will hold you accountable. And many of us did. I sure didn't grow up with that, but I was put in places where I could find those people. Now look, being 800 something $1,000 in debt, I didn't care how good your coaching program was. I wasn't buying it because I couldn't afford it. I could barely put food on the table. People from my church, Lieutenant Colonel in the Air Force, people in my church were giving dollar bags of clothes for my boys. You know how humbling and embarrassing that was. Whew.
Mhm.
But really just coming up with a plan and saying, okay, step by step, how am I going to do this? And so we can get into the mechanics of the businesses that I use to do that offline. But I got through about the first 120 was commercial debt. The rest of that was real estate debt. And I discovered I was really good at teaching people how to invest in real estate and how to get out of debt. I said, oh, so that's how I ended up making out. All the rest of that was just using what the Lord had given me and not
Yeah,
chasing after what he gave everybody else.
I love that. Sean McDaniel, he asked or she asked, it said, what are the pitfalls to inheritance property and how to protect yourself? Trust funds, when it is a good idea and when is it not? Is there a middle ground vehicle to protect inherited assets? So Sean had a lot of questions right here. It sounds like he needs to come to your conference, Dexter, in October. I mean, those are kind of like high level.
That's an offline discussion.
It is. So put in
Yeah.
dexterjenkins.com, but he can actually, I think that's one of the things that you do talk about at your conference in October. And you want to tell them a little bit about what that is. What do you call that conference?
Yeah, it's the Wealth Creation Summit. And so we've done that for the last 3 years. And really, it's people gather from all over the country to answer one question: how do we use real estate as a wealth creation tool? And so
Mm.
something JJ was talking about land and wholesaling and fixing, flipping, those are different strategies that you can use for real estate. And so that's part of it. But, the question is a valid one because I think a lot of times we don't do the legal things that we need to do to cover ourselves. And so to make sure that you get, I always say, a real estate lawyer, and not your cousin who does nine other things, but then they dip in real estate every now and then.
Right. You don't.
And so getting a person who is savvy in real estate, and then if they're going the investing right, someone who is, because all lawyers, all terms aren't created equal. Someone don't like to deal with investors, and so if they're going to do that, go that route, I would encourage them to do that as well. So.
Real estate lawyers. So we're gonna no more questions here. I see in the chat. We're gonna do one round robin and ask everyone the same question. Basically, what the money move. So the money move for 2026, one that you are doing, or the one that you suggest, or the one that you see that is working. Because I want people to have actionable things to do. I want to thank Saran for being part of us. She was the cover of Speakers Magazine, so make sure you go there. Dexter was a cover as well. Dr. Willie Jolly, he came in first with the video, got him in here. Definitely Dr. Kimbrough. Where did Dr. Kimbrough? He's probably with the student over there. What are you doing, Dr. Kimbrough? We have JJ. She's on the cover, but she's actually gonna be on the cover. What are you doing over there? I see you over there talking to students. It's like, okay, well, tell them to give you a couple of minutes first. Round robin, just everyone just basically tell a little bit about what is your money move for 2026, or either inspiration or hope that they need to have. A lot of people are going through, especially what Saran said in the DC area as well. What is it that that you could do to right now? And then also drop your website or how they can get in touch with you for more information, or where you would like them to follow you on social media. So we can start at the top and work our way down. Popcorn. You want to start Saran first?
Right. So I want to say this. The money move for 2026 is this, and this may or may not be a popular opinion. Just say no.
Ooh.
And the no is to people asking for your money that didn't earn it. because we don't talk a lot about the black tax. And that is when you make it, bunny ears, the responsibility that you get for others in your family. And what happens is we can't keep going because we made it, quote unquote, but we didn't really make it because now we're saying yes, and it really is taking away from our future wealth. It doesn't mean you don't help them. It means you got to say no for a period of time to get to a point where your yes is a solid yes. And it's not about loaning, but you're not loaning from your principal. You're learning from the interest you earned on your principal, right? We giving away the seed instead of planting the seed and then giving from the harvest.
Love that. I love that. So just say no and don't feel guilty about it, because then you'll have to go talk to Wendy, and she's a financial because you're feeling guilty and emotional about saying no to your family. But you basically, that's a money move right there. So don't feel bad about that. Dexter, I'm gonna ask that question to you, and then I'm gonna ask that question to you, JJ, and then Mike, Belize, and Wendy.
I like what JJ said. I'm a firm believer that God has given all of us something that would help us create wealth beyond our wildest imagination. And what you have to do is you have to mine that. You have to find out what that is. And so, take some time to get quiet. Some of you can follow a guy by the name of, some of you know who he is, John Hope Bryant. And one of the things he talked about is in Black and brown neighborhoods, they are intentionally noisy because it doesn't allow us to think and create. And part of what you have to do is get quiet with yourself, get quiet with God, if that's how you flow, and really begin to get a sense of letting Him direct you to where your wealthy place is.
Where your wealthy place is. It sounds like some Bible in there. Okay, I like it.
Is.
I like. I can tell. All right, Michael Wynn, he stepped away. Okay, Valise. Okay.
Oh, well, I'm gonna piggyback off of Pastor Dexter, and I'm gonna go unconventional with this. And it's one thing that as an accountant, as a tax preparer, people who see people's finances all the time, the one money move I'm going to advise you to do is to pay your tithes because it's a wealth principle. Pay your tithe. Give God what belongs to him off the top and watch what he does. Give him his 10%. It's just 10%. Give him his at least 10% and watch what he does with your 90%.
I got Dexter over there smiling. He's a pastor. So he's like, yeah. He gonna send you 10%.
Listen, ask me how I know, because I wasn't always, but when I tried it, he's always provided for me. Even in my lean seasons, he's always provided for me. I'll never be broke another day in my life, and it's regardless of what's coming in, but he's gonna always provide for me because I participate in his principle of giving, and that's giving him what's due to him.
Sierra's over there. Yes, he is our provider. That is for sure. That is strategy and stewardship. I like that. Carolyn, I see you up there. Did we go to you?
No. My internet's unstable, so I probably will keep popping in and out. But money move for 2026 is stop being quiet and start engaging with your finances. You can't understand or control your wealth until you understand your money. And too many women are quiet, don't ask the right questions, but recognize you're not alone. You're not the only one, and it's not too late. So you just need to start asking the right questions, but monitoring what goes in and what goes out of your household. There was a question in the chat about should you know your partner's spending? And I said, you have to decide what works best for each couple. But ideally, you need to know the income for the entire household, the spending for the entire household, so you can manage your money and make good decisions that's best for the entire household.
I love that.
And I know that has created problems for some people. Start managing your money. Stop avoiding the hard questions.
Avoiding the hard questions. Have wealthy conversations. Michael Wynn.
Yes, the money move for 2026 is know your why. I was unfortunate to grow up with my great grandfather who had 1,400 acres of land when the average person in Arkansas only had like 800,000. He died in 76, and today 36 of us are living from a legacy. I wrote this book called The Book because my great grandfather had six daughters, my grandmother, and she would say, "Go get my book, baby." I mean, she put everything in the book. When the insurance man that came by every week and charged her $52 for a policy she probably got for $500, she put her lottery numbers. Everything went into the book. And I learned how important, if you know your why, what you know, what you feel, and what you do is what he would always say. My great grandfather was scammed, and I learned about knowing your why. Why do you want to have money? Do you want to have money to just have money, or do you want to have money to build a legacy, or do you want to have money to be rich, or and give your tithes and give community help? All these things are important, and I think that we have to understand why do we want to make money, not just to hoard it and be make us fruitful for whatever reason, but we have to go extend our thinking more. That way, we will keep more of it. We'll treat ourselves with grace.
I love that. Have money, not to hoard it. I'll give you something, and Wendy, I didn't come to you yet, right?
No. Okay.
Okay. But this is something that just always bothered me personally. My father had a brother who passed, a younger brother, and he was a mailman, and he never moved out of the family house. He lived really in the basement his entire life. He died, I guess he was about almost 70 something years old. Well, when he died, he always wore this. He actually wore like really dirty clothes. He never spent anything. He never spent anything. And when he died, it was over $1 million he had saved. The house was dusty, dirty. He was living without heat. I mean, there was just like there were things. It's like he was wealthy, but he lived with a poverty mindset. Like he was afraid to spend money. And that's another extreme. But I saw it and I was like, why was he? I mean, the car was ragged. I mean, he could well afford anything. He didn't have any children, was never married, didn't have a house. I mean, I that kind of thing just blew my mind. It was like, I don't know too many people that have that kind of, it's like, I don't know if he grew up in the depression, but that bothered me. I was like, he never enjoyed the money. And then he left the money to people at this point, they're older and he could have enjoyed it earlier and they could have enjoyed it earlier, right? It's just like, okay, but that's what the financial healing at that point. Like some people have that. And I'm sure you probably counsel people with that type of mentality, like they're afraid to spend money. So what is your money move that people need to make in 2026?
Well, mine is my mantra. It's when you think right, speak right, and do right, things will flow right to optimize your financial health. And things aren't money, and just money, I should say. It's your discernment, it's your relationships, it's your, opportunities that you can take advantage of. It's, just being able to have everything when you think right, speak right, and do right, things flow right because, they're there for you. You understand and you can recognize that. So, and that's what I live by. And it's worked for me. And, I'm spiritual, I'm a tither. So I amen to that. And when you, speak it, and if you don't speak right, things aren't going to, flow right. So, think right, speak right, and do right, and things will flow right to optimize your financial health. That's my final.
It does start with the mind. The mindset is the first thing about really thinking right. JJ, and then I think I'm gonna end with you, Dr. Kimbrough.
My big money move for 2026, what a lot of my clients are finding success with right now is learning how to invest in free and clear real estate, which for a lot of us in our socioeconomic status might mean things like tax sales or note buying rather than full out properties. But starting where you are and learning how to invest in real estate or stock market in these methods that the wealthy are using. That's we've got to position ourselves to do what the wealthy are doing.
I love that. Dexter, did I get to you? Yes, I did. Dexter. Yeah, okay, Dexter. One of the things you talked about stock market, what are some of the apps that people can go to do their own? I think it's E-Trade, and what's the other one? Acorn as well. So some of those things where people can actually do their own trading by just investing in that, and it's like fractional shares and that sort of thing. But I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying these are just some apps that you can check out. Those are the kind of things. So the Dr. Kim,
oh, that's gold. That's golden oldie there, girl.
There we go. I love this. Yeah, there we go. With the attaché case, right? There we go.
Yeah, there you go, man.
So what is the money move? We're going to end with you, sir.
Wow. I have to go where I always go, and that is the money move is to use your superpower. If there's anything that I have found out from interviewing the hyper wealthy, is that their superpower is focus. When you mentioned my interview with Tyler Perry or all these other folks, they don't manage their time, Pam. They manage their distractions. And, when Napoleon Hill released his first book, he had 19 principles for success. Then he shortened it down to 17. Then he shortened it down to 13. And if you look in Think and Grow Rich, the original Think and Grow Rich, he tells you that the only reason why he came up with principles 5 through 13, pleasing personality, the cosmic habit force, is to get you to use 1 through 4. And what is 1 through 4? Definite is the purpose, mastermind, applied faith, going the extra mile. Keep it simple, but you got to focus on it. Because McKinsey and Company, they conducted a study. And they found out that when you are focused, when you are completely engaged, you are in a state called flow. But when every distraction gets you out of flow, according to McKinsey and Company, it takes 27 minutes for you to re-engage and get back in flow. So you think about all the times you were distracted over the course of the day. Focus is your superpower. You can do anything you want if you are completely engaged and, with your labor of love.
I love that. That's a word right there. That's a drop mic moment. I got that right there, because we live in an age where it feels like part of ADHD phones and everything buzzing.
Yeah.
And they got Alexa, then we got AI and the chat. It is the superpower is focus. Yeah, Kia wrote it down. Focus is your superpower. They don't manage their time. You said they don't manage their time. They manage their distractions.
They manage their distractions. Yep.
And so we are right at time. I figured we would end about 6:30. I just want to thank all of you all. Put your information again in the chat. Felice, Dr. Carolyn, Saran, my BDS sister, Dr. Wendy, Michael Wynn, book dropped today. Make sure you go get it. Hold it up again. Michael Wynn. I keep wanting to call you Dr. Wynn. There you go. Scam Proof Habits. JJ, you coming up in June. Juneteenth Legacy. People are lining up for that. Dexter, thank you so much for doing double duty. And you too, Dr. Kimbrough, doing double duty. You guys are normally in your regular spot, but I needed to have you all wrap up Financial Literacy Month for this month of April. And I want people to, they can actually go, Dexter, and get this book as well, Getting Your Money Straight and Building Wealth as well. This is on Amazon as well. So I want
right on to the right on.
And Mark is back here saying right on to the right on. So thank you all so much for joining us. All of them have been on Speakers Magazine. They were a part of either digital cover or real cover, or Mike Wynn, who's part of Speak Sell Shine. If you want to be a part of that, go to speaksellshine.com, apply. We have it coming up October 5th and 6th in Washington, D.C., National Press Club. It will be safe. Okay, don't worry. And at the Howard Theater as well. I know, it's like, oh my God, what is going on? So those are the dates. So go and apply, speaksellshine.com. And Speakers Magazine is coming up. The May issue is going to be fire, and the June issue is going to be fire too, with JJ on the cover. But thank you all so much. Make sure that you get the books that we talked about. Okay, they are what I call those things that the secrets are in there, right? The secrets are in the book. So please read the books. If you can't read them, get them on audiobook, because I'm sure some of your books, Dr. Kimber, are on audiobook. I think they are.
I just bought the Wealth Choice, so
yes.
Speaking.
Good. And then also, Dr. Kimber, the movie. Did you talk about the movie?
Oh man, that movie is still in a state of flux, but they took snippets out of the movie that I cut with the folks out in California for another movie. I let the Napoleon Hill Foundation go through all that legal stuff. I just keep my head down and working on book number 6 as we speak.
Okay, all right.
I just want to know what Dr. Kimbrough do to look so youthful. He looked the same as I saw him in 1989. I'm telling the truth. He looks the same. I was in a class. He looks the same.
Wow. Wow.
His brother got something that he need to bottle.
Every Tuesday and Thursday, I chase around 300 business students. So
that's it. Well, you guys, thank you all so much for joining us today. I want to say also to any of the people who were came into the waiting room, you probably saw like a little song that was coming in. It was a theme song. I want to thank my Black Door Society sister, Dr. Roz. Talk about someone who is making money using her gifts and skills. She created the song, did the video for me, and she's a psychologist by trade, but she learned how to do AI in a way that I didn't want to learn, and now I pay her to do that. So if you all see my theme song, she did that. And if you need to know how to do it, I can give you her information, okay? All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm Pam Perry, and I am out. Thank you guys so much. This has been really, really empowering.
It was wonderful. Thanks for having me.
Nice seeing everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone. Thanks so much, Pam,
Thank
for inviting us.
Oh, thank you.
This is my pleasure to be on your panel.
Oh, good. God